want to try something slightly different for this video. I'm going to play a video game. And if you're thinking it's about to be a good video game, no, it's this one. Even the lead singer of Imagine Dragons can barely get anyone to play his live service game. It's good stuff, Kotaku. That's a masterclass in sassy headline writing. Firstly, everyone hates live service games, even people who love live service games. But more importantly, Imagine Dragons has become sort of a punchline band. Meaning if you're writing a TV character and you want them to come off as maybe simple or unartistic, where once you would use maybe Creed or Nickelback, now you can use Imagine Dragons for a safe laugh. Joey, what are you listening to? Imagine Dragons. Yep, that tracks. So the idea that the lead singer of Imagine Dragons is making a game that is failing miserably is inherently juicy. Ha ha, one would want to say. More like lightning and the blunder. And I was obviously ready to say that. But here's the weird thing. The lead singer of Imagine Dragons is a person. His name is Dan Reynolds, but how would you even know that? Like, you would be insane to put Dan Reynolds in your headline instead of Imagine Dragons lead singer. And then if you're reading the interviews they put out, it seems like this game, which is called Last Flag, by the way, I realize at this point we haven't even said what it's called. It's Last Flag. It's less cynical than you would think it is. It's just the product of two brothers. Turns out Dan's brother is named Mac, and he's also the manager of Imagine Dragons. It's the product of two brothers who love video games and just wanted to capture what it felt like to play Capture the Flag in real life as young Boy Scouts with flashlights. How can you hate this? It's $15 with 0 microtransactions. But also, technically, if we're getting into the nitty-gritty here, there is a $5 supporter edition upgrade that is essentially a microtransaction. But you know, we've seen worse. And maybe you're thinking at this point, Dan Reynolds is some big-time rock and roll poser who doesn't even care about making video games. He did make this one. Piplet. Yeah, that's the lead singer of Imagine Dragons. And getting through those puff pieces, like, you know, here's the thing. Before the game comes out, you treat the game as if it could be great. Anyway, reading through these puff pieces, I did find that I think Last Flag has two cool ideas. One, each round begins with both teams hiding their flags somewhere. There's rules about how much has to be visible, I guess. But I think that's a genuinely cool idea. You don't see in other CTF modes in video games. That is an actual real life part of Capture the Flag. Kids would hide the flag under a log. That was part of the fun. And then two, the song you hear for losing is apparently way better than the song you hear when you win. That alone flies in the face of conventional game design and might be the very kind of outsider thinking this industry needs. However, every other idea seems unexceptional or short-sighted. The game appears to be a stinker. And I want to know if it is. I want to test out that theory. And I know it's a bad place to start, right? I should start open-minded, but I think you also can think for yourself. Look at this. Do you want to play this? So I'll do it. I will give Last Flag 5 rounds. If at any point I experience fun, I will go and order Imagine Dragons' most recent album, Loom, and I'll slide it onto my shelf back there as if it is something worth holding on to. If, however, the game does indeed stink, I will order Imagine Dragons' most recent album, Loom, and bury it in the woods. Perhaps only to be discovered generations later by some wandering Boy Scouts. Let's begin. All right, I said I was just going to give it 5 rounds, but clearly we have to go to the training gym first. This game looks kind of nice. Here he comes. Look at this guy. What the fuck? Stop, stop, stop. What's the point of my things? What do my things do? Don't forget to use your abilities, it says. And I saw him walk right through my ability. Here he comes again. There we go. Gotcha. That was crazy. This is Flag and Chips Restaurant. What's the pun? Quick match. Here we go. 5v5. So we're looking for 9 other players. How old is this? Hey, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, some of these names to me clearly imply they're bot names. Legit Wraith seems to be a true person for sure. Round 1, here we go. Ooh, I get to hide the flag. It's me. Always hide it behind a log. Watch this, watch this. Yeah, I think this will be good.
One of our young viewers got to pick that hiding spot.
Oh, look, there's the enemy team. That's kind of cool. Is my thing healing him? Are you getting healed by my thing? Yeah, this. I think that might be a bot-a-rooney. Here comes the axe guy. We're ready for you, bro. Oh, no. He always teleports. Okay. You got spanked. 6 kills, 3 deaths. Round 1 victory. Still haven't heard the best song in the game. I don't get their deal. I don't get the deal with the last flag crew. I don't believe anybody here would be playing Capture the Flag is what I mean. Yeah, we'll take 1 in progress. Is that cheating? I said I would do 5 rounds. We're joining 1 in progress. All right, this time we'll play as Rhodey. Okay, so hopping into this match in progress, it looks as though my team has found the enemy's flag. Oh, shoot. And they're on their way to bring it in. Here in mid-round 2, my impression is that I feel like it's just like a lot of like skinny, weird people just kind of like flinging shit at each other. Even the big lumberjack guy is kind of like just another version of a skinny person. Was that it? Hold on, was that was the best song in the game? It's this. That's the best song in the game. Okay, so we're experiencing a bug right now where it won't let me pick anybody. Let me pick a character. Oh, here we go, here we go. Now I can, now I can. Okay. No, it's gone. I've lost the right. Okay. Well, I was gonna pick that guy anyway. Okay, we're hiding the flag. I think it very obviously makes the most amount of sense to hide the flag as deep as possible. It just takes way longer to traverse this stuff. So yeah. We're gonna hide the flag up on this tree. Oh, how devious.
At this point, indecisiveness can be your worst enemy as the
Oh,
flag.
yeah.
Well, based on that hiding spot, it's going to be an exciting match.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, even if they see it, even if they're just wandering around and they see it, it's such a nuisance to get up there. I feel like that has to be a good hiding spot. Yeah, it's got the little Fortnite slide and jump. Yeah. I see my buddies doing that. That's good. Okay, so the strategy at this point in the game is a player could either go to try to take one of the 3 towers for their team, which increases our scanning ability, or just try to like find the flag out there in the wild. They took our flag, but I hid it in such a good spot. Oh no. I wonder if I can mark stuff for my teammates. Other way, stranger pings. You're a bad bot. No. You're a bad bot. What'd they say? They said fun first, competitive second. What does that mean? And it's funny. It is kind of like an Imagine Dragons song, you know? Lonely. So lonely. It kind of is. It's kind of got something to it. 1 kill, 5 deaths. Barely better than that bad bot. This is round 4. I've loaded in. Our flag has already been taken. We do know, at least in this round, where our enemy's flag is. That's cool to know. I'll go straight to it. What are you doing, bro? Oh, he's doing hawk shit.
That flag drop looked painful.
Ow! Dang! Okay, looks like they're gonna get their flag back. And then it looks like we're gonna have to go to their pyramid. Look at that little Boy Scout trying. No, no, no. You cannot grab that flag right now, bro. Lonely! 0 kills. 2 deaths. We kind of loaded into that one pretty late. Look at Winkler. We really let you down, dude. Flag should be in the title, but I question last flag. Like, I think, here's the thing. I truly think if this game was called Get the Dang Flag. Get the Dang Flag. It would be selling twice as many copies at least. You know, it would be in the headlines at least. Get the Dang Flag fails to have 600 concurrent users. Man, I thought I hid that flag in such a cool spot. But it was probably like, if you've been playing this game, it's probably the most big, like you look at the top of that tree first. So my question is, do you think this game would be more fun if there was not even the grid mechanic? Would this game be more fun if it was legitimately just finding the enemy's flag without needing some sort of radar to get to it? Beware of the red. What does that mean? What does that mean? Round 5.
See one used today.
We're hiding the flag. Got your back, Calypso. No, I'm on your team. Wow, dude, they took everything from us. Look at this. Look how fast they're taking A.
Red team have been dominant so far.
Lonely. I think we got a lonely on the way, dude. All right, so we've got 8 cubes left in which our flag could possibly be. It is merely a matter of time before the enemy discovers our flag. I think we have to go on the offensive of trying to find their flag. So let's do some digging in enemy territory. It's got to be deep. All right, so we have successfully lucked into finding the very square that the enemy's flag is in. Where's that flag? My spidey sense. That's a nice spot. That's a nice spot.
Hot dog. Blue team has the flag.
Hot dog. I think ravines are safe, so I think this is good. Yeah, this is nice. Okay.
Team victory is tantalizingly close.
We must
Can
protect
they
this house.
build my Mocha team?
Where'd that guy go?
Oh, they got
Bro, I hit her like 5 times! Come on, man!
If you like that finisher,
I don't like that. I don't like that, actually. I don't like that. That was demoralizing. I'm doubting their team is coordinated enough to have somebody who's just hanging out in that cave next to their flag. In real life, that's what I would do. This is not real life. All of my buddies are behind me. Fuck! My buddies are not in a spot where they could easily help and protect me. The flag bearer. Fuck this. Buddies. Buddies, it would be in your best interest to fucking protect me. Okay, we are gonna get this at least. But we're so fucked.
If you like that finisher, make sure to pick up the new Last Flag board game. And experience the thrill of the kill.
I didn't like it. They truly thought this announcer will never get old. They truly thought this will always be worth a chuckle. Yep. Yep. Lonely. 2 kills. 7 deaths. Where's it say? Where's it say like you picked up the flag 2 times and brought it all the way back to your base? Where's it say that? Where's it say your teammates didn't do anything when you brought the flag home? Where's it say that? So I'm sitting here, I think my disappointment in the game is that while I like the ambition to try to capture the essence of capture the flag, the game that children used to play, And, you know, like hiding the flag is part of that, right? Just like, you know, like truly care. Like, dudes, we gotta go. They got our flag. Like, we gotta get their flag. Any of that's kind of lost in that the actual act of playing the game turns out to be just shooting people. It turns out to be like get stations A, B, and C like we're playing Battlefield because those are vital in finding the enemy's flag. It turns out to be just a lot of like shooting people and getting annoyed by annoying abilities that your opponents have. So I'm struggling now because the parameters were if I were to experience fun playing this. And, you know, you know, there's moments of brief excitement. Oh, you're in jail now. Hey, it's working. That's sweet. Hell yeah. That was cool. Okay. Okay. Nope. Nope. They're shooting me from up there. Okay. But I feel like fun might be like a broader overall. Like, here's the thing. I can't recommend it. I can't recommend Last Flag. I can't say that's a fun thing to do. So for that reason, I believe I'm about to buy that CD and bury it in the woods. But, like, you know, on to the next one. I'm sure the next game that the studio puts out will build upon what's here, which is to say one or two nice concepts and then, you know, like a bog standard hero shooter. Delayed input will be back next week. Until then, thanks for watching. So one thing I like to do if I'm ever streaming a live service game is something called Roster Rater, where I look at a game's roster and I try to score each individual character on how much they contribute to a roster. First, we have Banshee, Hazuki Masako. I'm sorry, is Banshee her role? It is. Okay, so her role is Banshee. Few were surprised when Masako started a band. So I like what's going on with Masako's puffy leather pants. I think that the shoulder pads actually don't work that well for what this character is trying to do. I truly think if you're going to put a design on the back of your character in a game where you're looking at your character's back so much, it's got to be clean. And I don't think this is that clean. I think, you know, I think it's like a first pass design that they just kind of rolled with. I wish it popped more. I think the chains aren't really working well for her. I'm going to give Hazuki Masako a 6.5. Next up, we got our Arsenal class, Camilla Barbosa. This is the character you'll notice I was initially drawn to. I feel like maybe Camilla's at least like a total freak, and I think she's got really good freak energy. I think the sneakers are questionable. I don't know if Camilla should be wearing sneakers like that, but I think like the sunglasses, I think like the rotating camera. Ooh, what is that called? What's this thing called on a camera? The aperture thing? I think that's nice. I think that's a cool design element. She's got some nice alt skins, too. If you're leveling up your Camilla, you're getting some nice stuff out of it. All right, I give Camilla an 8. Skyfire. Skyfire is the character's job. Cao Yuhong is his name. His most famous movie is Rise of the Flying Dragon, where he fights off criminals with a flamethrower and jetpack. And then he also like happens to do that in real life. I think this man is simply too skinny. And I know you're saying like, Kyle, Bruce Lee is skinny. Yeah. I guess just like I don't believe he's got power in his kicks. I think again, like maybe too much shoulder stuff here, and you know what it is? I think if you shrink his head a little bit, it makes the entire thing work better. The guy's got a big head. Cao Yuhong gets 6.2. All right, next up we got Scout. Parker Spencer. For reasons he keeps to himself, Parker is learning Japanese. We all know why Parker is learning Japanese. It is so crazy to me to say, let's make a game that harkens back to how fun it was when we played Capture the Flag when we were Boy Scouts. And then one of your characters is a Boy Scout. And I feel like maybe it's a bad idea to tell you about this now, but Dan Reynolds sketched out all of these characters. And again, like we're talking like filling roles in the title, right? There's so many just like Skinny people with big shoulders. He's got strong cheekbones, yet he's a Boy Scout. He's got cool hair, yet he's a Boy Scout. What are they thinking with this design? Absolute 4. Tango is the character class. Alejandro is the name. Now this is the character they chose for us to play as in the tutorial. I don't hate the design, but once again, he is a skinny guy with big, huge, broad shoulders. We got a lot of people who are filling an identical silhouette. So what I'm saying is, like, what makes Alejandro unique to Last Flag? And I would say not much. He doesn't have a lot of defining characteristics that make him unique. I do like the Kiss skin. Oh no. Alejandro's on Last Flag for only one reason, so that his sister Beatriz might see him on television. I think that's a bad move. I think that's a bad move. Like if the tone of this game is so goofy, like, you know, like it should be like a goofier thing. It should be he's on Last Flag so that his missing dog can maybe find him and see him. Yes, that's the fix. Anyway, Alejandro is a 5.5. Not a bad character design at all, but we're talking roster rater, right? We're talking about like adding depth to the amount of different characters you have in your game. And this guy's just very standard by nature. Still, 5.5 seems harsh. Let's give him 6.6. 6.6. Bounty Hunter Julius Reeves. Guess who's a skinny man with big broad shoulders? Now, I guess you would say, here's the thing. If you take Julius Reeves, if you cover him, like the bottom half of him with your thumb, he would be a stronger character design. But then they gave him little legs. And I know that Lumberjack's got little legs too. Yeah, imagine this guy with big, tall legs. It could work. Oh, I like Noir. That's nice. There's an actual direction to that. That's nice. That's nice. What, does this guy freaking love playing Capture the Flag? This guy? Is he into Capture the Flag? Julius Reeves has poor trigger discipline. Still, though, I think he does stand out amongst the rest of the roster. Let's give him a 7.1. All right, Rhodey, I would say, is distinct. His arm cannon looks like a Nerf gun. That actually might be cool. He is another skinny person with super broad shoulders. But I do kind of feel like he is exuding Rhodey energy, which is to say, this guy doesn't think he's the star of the game. His cigarette becomes a lollipop. I've been saying Rhodey like that's his name this whole time. Rhodey is his job. Jack Burt is his real name. I think Jack Burt is actually pretty good for this game. Again, I wish that maybe his limbs were thicker, but I'm going to give him 7.7. Knives is her job. Shin Soo-jin is her name. In a game full of wacky characters, she's very serious. Everybody's so dang serious, bro. What is the tone of this game? She is... Here's the thing. Realistically, pragmatically, you probably do need like a good butt character in your live service game. If you want to have any chance to succeed, you probably do, like, you need like one good butt character. I think, you know, Shin Soo-jin is filling that role here. She proves that they do know that some legs can have some thickness. Same kind of shoulders as everybody else, though. Shoulders pointing out. These character designers hate round shoulders. Does this look like the kind of person who wants to go out and have a jolly time picking up a flag to you? No. I feel like the design is okay. I think it would fit better in a different kind of roster. So I can't give it a super good grade. 9.2. And then we got Lumberjack. Lumberjack is his job title. Peter Makinen is his actual name. I feel like this guy is maybe the icon of the game. Meaning, like, in any group shot, this is the guy that stands out. In a trailer, you show this guy to show, like, look at all the different kinds of characters. This is basically your cover boy. At first I thought, like, he's got a pride pin, but I think it's just, like, axe pride. I don't think that's any particular kind of pride. He's got God of War axes, which don't really fit with, like, the lumberjack aesthetic. And once again, like, skinny. Why can't this guy have legs like tree trunks? And I think his hair is too nice. Maybe they want all the characters to kind of seem attractive in some way, but lumberjacks should have unruly, bushy, scraggly beards. They should not have nice looking bangs flopping off the top of their foreheads. Look at his eyebrows. Compassionate eyebrows do not belong on a lumberjack character. What's his book say? Okay, so in his back pocket, he's got a novel that says Timber Hearts. I'm going to guess they're like he actually loves romance in some way, like that's his thing. Peter loved nothing more than roaming the vast forests in Finland or losing himself in a romance novel. Yeah, you know, normally I like that. I like a juxtaposition. You would not expect a lumberjack to be hauling around a romance novel in his back pocket. However, if that juxtaposition is to be true, he needs to look like a guy who wouldn't normally read a romance novel. And this clean-cut lumberjack with skinny legs, you see them all the time in the bookstores. They walk in and they say, "Where's the romance section?" I gotta give this guy should be serving a role. This guy should be an 8 or a 9, right, in terms of what he brings to the game. But I feel like he lets the team down. He's your all-star who doesn't show up in the playoffs. I gotta give this guy a 3. So then if we're talking overall roster rating, yeah, sorry, it occurred to me like how much like of Spider-Man this guy is, and his name is Parker. That's crazy. I gotta give this whole roster a 5, a flat 5, a flat. This is standard. This is standard stuff. Nothing's truly popping. A lot of these characters you wouldn't look at and say, yeah, I got to play that character, but also, yeah, that character is very distinctly from that one Capture the Flag game made by Dan Reynolds, the lead singer of Imagine Dragons.